doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Definitely doesn't work. Definitely doesn't fucking work! Hey guys, you're probably wondering why I'm so pissed. It's not because of this mouse review. Really, it's even though I have my quirks with it. I'm going to say something personal about this. I get requests for this tank a lot from one of my bestest friend that wanted me to review this tank, and I'm finally getting to the topic of it. Before I even review this tank on World of Tanks, I had to spend an entire week playing this tank, taking notes, trying to figure out how to play this damn tank again, because it's so... You will see the review when we're talking about here. But I played like, wargaming. I've been taking notes. I've been taking War Thunder's notes because that's had a mouse in it that has problems with it. I've been taking other games, even an anime game that has a mouse in it. I still have a fucking problem with games that think this beloved mouse can fucking face fucking present day tanks. God damn it. Literally, it's been a pet peeve of mine that why the hell does video games have to put the mouse in Cold War era is beyond me. So, without further ado, I'm just getting my personal thing out of the way a little bit. Let's talk about good old goddamn mouse in World of Tanks. Okay, audience, before we begin this review, there's two things I wanted to say. One, you're probably wondering why I'm not wearing the Field Marshal Fist of Fury uniform. Well, it's fucking warm in here. Between being in a small room with a lot of electricity running, plus being almost summer, it's hot. And to run the AC, you would hear the fan in the background instead of hear me perfectly clear. So I decided to do this instead until I could find a proper way to make the room cool without basically, making too much noise. Second thing I want to talk about is the armaments of the tank that I usually do. I'm not going to describe it completely heavy because the mouse tank it's already a standard tank in the tech tree. All you have to do is just look at it yourself. I'm just going to quickly talk about what things they don't talk to you about. So let's get started with that, okay, shall we? Now, first and foremost, the armaments is like what it is, what you see here, and you can look this up yourself if you have the game, but obviously it's like a standard armor mouse that you see in any other video game. However, it's got some key problems with it that I will address to you right now. First and foremost, head turret is a big, huge problem. You would think 260 millimeters is kind of weak, but that rounded shape should have been stronger, Fury, which it is, except for one problem. In the very middle of it, as you could turn the tank this way, is completely flat. Meaning if they hit a straight, narrow shot right into the turret, it's going to pen you. So chances are you're going to get penned a lot if you're looking at the target. And my advice is to look away from the target, and you'll see why when I show you the game clip video. You have to look away from the target because you're going to get penned very easily. Mostly you have to turn your tank looking away from the target like this, but it's extremely risky because you're exposing the other head armor, so you have to be really careful at how you approach this mouse. So, the other thing too is it has tricky angle armor. Obviously, you see this as a meme everywhere in World of Tanks, to where if you angle the son of a gun, it's really hard to pen because it goes up to like 390 millimeters if you angle it just right. However, doing so is tricky because there's two things to talk about this. One, your tank can't be exposed to numerous of fire attempts because this tank is like designed to face 1v1, and I will describe it more in the game. And I hate to say this for mouse players, but the best way I've learned playing it nearly a week now is to try to play it as a medium range sniper. I know what you're gonna say, a mouse Fury? Really? Why would you want to play sniper when this tank's supposed to brawl? Yes, it does. However, you got to take the possibility that you're facing Cold War tanks. You're facing Cold War tanks that, like the Death Star, Jagdpanzer 100 is not Cold War, but you got Death Star Jr., and you got all these other guns that will rip you apart. So you have to play it not aggressive, but aggressive. It's difficult to describe, but like, I'll explain more when we get to the battle thing. I don't want to waste too much time on this. So, and obviously, the underbelly is the weakest because even if it's perfectly angled, almost exactly like the top tart armor, it's thin. So, anything with a tier 9 gun is going to pen that underbelly. So, you want to keep it angled. This is usually the best way to describe this mouse. Keep it angled. Otherwise, you're going to get killed. So that's all I want to talk about, besides the fact that the butt armor and stuff is also angled with the heavy plating like the front, but a little bit less millimeter armors. What is it actually? 160. But, however, I have seen like tier 8 guns can't pen it sometimes when it's angled, so you make sure you know, shake that booty, make sure it's angled. That's what it should be named, the booty shake mouse. Um, so let's get out of that so that way we can talk about things else that are new, because obviously, like I said, if you want to look this up, guys, if you want to look up the gun, the actual turning radius, the engine and stuff, you could see all that, and then the screen shows you 3,000 hit points. It only goes a maximum of 20 kilometers. You know, range is like 40, so you need a light tank to spot people sometimes. Although I question it because the video you're going to see, I'm just actually playing like light tank for some reason, because I apparently had the most. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, what's the other thing we would talk about? Well, equipment. Let's talk about equipment real quick, because equipment is the main key essential to this mouse. You're going to need track repairs heavily, because this thing's going to be targeted by artillery a lot. You're going to need, you know, advanced repairs. You need like also all the equipment's loading capability, and definitely 100% that you definitely need, even if you disagree with me with all those two things I just said. One you cannot disagree is spall liner. You must have spall liner on a tank. You can argue me saying like you can have armaments armor to replace the repair kit. That's fine. If you want to replace reloading with something else, that's fine. But you do not argue that you need a spall liner for this tank, because you get HE to death, artillery to death. You're going to need something to prevent the HE from harming you too badly, even though it's going to regrettably do it anyways, but you still need to have those key elements. And obviously, consumables, same thing. Now, let's talk about the ammunition cost, because it doesn't show this that much. So, one shot is 1,070 for one shell. I carry like 23. Um, and then you got APCR, which is 4,800. I use them for only emergencies. I don't know why people spam it, but I get it. They have to, because the pen's a little bit better than the actual, you know, thing. You can see on the top on the right, that little chart that I showed about the 3,000 hit points. It says 311 penetration with that. And probably from far distance, it's probably like 290, 280 if you shoot long distance. But I could see why people spam it, because this mouse can't handle very strong tanks. I mean, it is a 12.8. I think it's 12.8. Hang on. I gotta look it real quick, because, sorry, audience. Yeah, 12.8. I thought so. I just, like, was thinking on the top of my head, like, usually a mouse has a 12.8, but there could be some games that fuck that up. So I carry 20 of them, even though they're really expensive, but I use that for extreme emergencies if I can't pen it. And then high explosive, this one I just do all the time. I carry 25. Now, you're probably wondering, Ferry, why do you carry 25 high explosives? They don't do anything except for light tanks. Okay, here's my advice why I get this. This tank is designed to mostly hold down or side scrape or anything. There's going to be tanks that you can't pen holding down, like IS-7 and all that. So what can you do to do more damage? Well, you're going to HE it to death in the head if you can pen it. Or HE it like any other tank, like in the turret or whatever. Just do minimum damage. I know that sounds stupid when they can pen you, but what choices do you have if you have APCR and AP? You have to pen them completely. This is not like Heat, where if it's a flat surface, you're going to pen and do max amount of damage. No, that's Yak Pen 3100. So I carry that just to annoy people that hold down, and I can't do nothing but to annoy the living piss out of them. That's all I carry 25 rounds on, but you don't have to. But it's 935. Not much money, but again, I make sometimes money if I do that. So now we got that out of the way. We got the armaments that you're supposed not to do. So yeah, let's get into the game, and then I'll talk about my personal opinion of dealing with nearly all these weeks. Okay, guys, here we are. I'm going to try something new here. You're going to be watching a replay kind of thing I have recording and me audioing over it so I can talk. So here we are in the new map of the Cold War, and god dang, I didn't want to be on this map, especially for a mouse tank. And for that, I just did not want that to happen. And and now I can talk freely, heavily more Eastern. Um, I've been playing this mouse tank for a while now, and it's such an irritating thing to play. I mean, this is probably the best clip I had. I mean, this was literally recording number 15, in case you guys were curious, because the mouse is so hard to play. It just keeps dying on me. So slow, gets targeted by artillery, as you could tell by 2 artillery in this game. It's just so bad at what it does to try to stay alive. So the survivability on that chart is false. But it's still a fun tank to play, discarding the fact that it like that. Now, as you can see what I'm trying to do on the mini map and stuff like that, I'm trying to get into the village area because, artillery, and this is a wide open map area that I did not want to be in the open when those artillery hits. So that guy up there is taking some hits, and here I am trying to climb up the hill, and then, ooh, that's just trying to climb up the hill. And I see enemies across the field. Now, usually I don't want to snipe this far away from the tanks, but in this map I had no choice. I tried to fire there, it just ricocheted. I tried to do a blind shot there. So what I'm trying to do is use the rock as cover to protect my bottom hull armor because that usually gets pen, and I'm trying to use just the head turret trying to look away from the targets. Now unfortunately though, I try to shoot this guy here. I thought he didn't see me, but he just shoot the upper thing on me, so I'm trying to return calculating. And that's the problem with the mouse. It's mostly a hit sponge target, and I know I'm supposed to charge, but where do you go charge in this type of map? Like, honestly. So, as you can see there, I did that trick where I basically, well, looked away from the target because I knew that medium tank was trying to shoot me, or heavy, I couldn't see on the screen I have right here, and it just ricocheted off. And that's usually how you have to block shots that are premium rounds and stuff. Just look away from the target. I know that sounds odd, especially to me. Usually when I play tanks, I usually look at the target to try to get as much armor as I can. I don't want to turn away and show my weakness, but the mouse is a rare specimen to where it has to look away from the target in order to shoot it. That's one of the key factors and stuff. But I'm getting flanked now, and this is the one thing you don't want to happen with the mouse, getting fired in all 3 directions. So here I am backing up, trying to get out of here. And of course, here comes the artillery. Yep, there it is. And I'm getting hit left and right, but this is usually 90% of the times when I play the mouse. I'm trying to stay alive. I'm trying to do my job, but this is usually average play for mouses, like trying to keep it alive, trying to stay with the group, trying to keep it like afloat. Now I'm trying to get around this area so I don't get hit by artillery, but then I see the S-Conqueror and I'm like, oh crap. And I just realized something when I was looking at the scope trying to aim. He has 3 marks. And I'm like, oh shit. So I try to fire at his tracks, but Lady Luck, he moved out of the way, so he just basically freaking got it. But Artie just saved me. And apparently, Artie really loves me in this game because that's how I'm getting so much assist damage right now. You can't really see it because of the XP thing there, but you'll see at the end of the game what I'm talking about. So I shoot the Death Star. Death Star tried to hit me, but as you notice in that replay thing, or saw a little bit when I was talking, he hit the upper deck of my tank because he couldn't hit the turret. So that spawn liner really helps him. I tried to shoot that guy, but it failed. That guy committed suicide. I'm like, what is going on? And of course, Jagdpanzer E100 shoots the track space. He loads the wrong type of ammunition to kill me. So I'm like going around like, okay, if I'm going to die, I'm going to take this ISM with me. And I'm like, boop, dead. So I got that tank there trying to shoot me. And then Jagdpanzer got like, okay, this is the end. But he shoots me again with high explosives, destroying my gun. What are you doing, buddy? You're in a Jagdpanzer E100. You should be doing that. So I'm blocking so much shit. I'm like, okay, this is new. I'm like, this is like weird. And then, I get killed by the Skoda T50. So in conclusion, this is like average game for me, and I know that wasn't the best gameplay showing, but it's like the best I can do. The rest were awful, awful showing of this. So here I am looking at all the tanks, trying to see what the hell we do, and I'll end the video real quick, but I just want to show you how not to play the Jagdpanzer 100. I know, right? I'm giving you a bonus here. I know that's not part of the tank you want to see, and you want me seeing my own video thing, but you gotta see how bad this is. Like, this poor destroyer here, I was watching a little bit, trying to see what he's doing, and I'm like, why are you getting closer to the enemy? They're gonna spot you, and sure enough, he's done. He's kaput. Um, yeah, there he goes. So, now watch this. This is hilarious. Like, this is a stock VKB 45B. This thing should rip him a new asshole, but just watch. You could tell he's loading the wrong ammunition. First shot he does, bounce. What? How do you bounce that? I guess with the angle and he's aiming for the overplate, but his head turret is stock. Shoot the head. I was saying to myself, I didn't want the enemy team to win, but at the same time, I'm trying to think between the enemy's calculations. So here comes the Jagdpanzer 100 ready to fire again. Sorry about that, audience. Phone call rang, and I had to edit most of my voice out there. Sorry about that. But you saw that. It literally shot the side there, and it did nothing. And here comes the Jagdpanzer again. I'm like, oh, he has to pen him this time. He shoots a G on his side, only doing, like, what was it, 200? What are you doing? I'm sorry, this is amusement. This is like a bonus feature for you guys. This is like, how do you get this type of level? Like, I said, for the love of God, this Jagdpanzer just shoot him in the turret and that, but you're gonna see in a minute that maybe that was a bad idea, because he shoots him in the turret and he absorbed it. You just saw that, audience. He shot a stock VKB turret and it did nothing. Jagdpanzer E100. What the hell? Oh man, this guy, he's gold. Yeah, he knows how to play that tank. Like, how did you get that tier 10? How did you get the tier 10? But we're gonna watch him die first. He's like, he gets penned by that tank. He finally loads the right ammunition, and then plunk, dead. Okay, audience, I'll just cut it right here. I just wanted to show you that, like, I was like in a like face pawn meme thing. Oh god. All right. Obviously we lost this game, but I will show you at the end of the video. All right, here we are at the very end. It took a while, but that guy got in third place, only doing 2,883 damage. You have a mark too. How did you get a mark? Okay, all jokes aside, let's talk about the final thing. So, thanks to that guy loading the wrong type of ammunition to the Maus, I have blocked 5,470. And apparently those arties, like I said earlier before I was seeing all the other things, loved me very much. I have done 4,000 assisted damage. I have done really good. Now, let's go back to the garage. Okay, guys. Welcome back. Now we get to the final verdict. So let's recap. You already saw in that game I could block a lot, and believe me, that's the least amount. You should look at my friend's Oceans page. That's a meme right there. Damn, son. But still, this tank, I had a lot of problems with playing this tank. I mean, you saw in the video, that's the best bet, and somehow I became a scout tank and spotted so much thing than my natural damage. So I'm happy with that, but it's like, it's funny, I'd be like, how did I turn this into a light tank? Like, how am I spotting? Goddamn German ingenuity magic. But my point is, this tank is, how do I describe it? It's like a TOG 2 in a tier 10, like heavily. And the problem with this tank is it just can't handle, stressful situations. It's supposed to be designed to push, but it's not in this game. Not with tanks like E100 or God damn, I mean, the Panzer E100, even though that guy in that video was kind of dumb, he loaded the wrong type. I don't know what he loaded, but I blocked a lot, thank you very much from it, but it was like, what, where is common, I might have to do a review on the Panzer E100 next time, just to show people how to play it and not spam what he was spamming to make blockage, and I don't know what the hell magic with bullshit was that. So, in the problem with the mouse is it has so many problems. Like, for example, you do not want to be the first one getting shot, but the problem is you're such a huge target to get shot, like this clip right here. I know that sounds weird, but you get more armor if you point your turret away from them, from 10 degrees away from them. Oh, shit, Barn.
That's the
I know that.
Conway. I hit
No,
him.
no, no. Ow, ow. Damn you, destroyers. This is the reason why I don't want to play this tank, audience. Yeah, that's a big problem, getting pen like that. I mean, that's just... I just drove a few feet and then all of a sudden my health is down to 600 and something. This is stupid. Or there's games that you're so fucking slow, or they're in a fixed position that sometimes it's like this.
Yeah, because you want to nuke somebody, you pick a Jaegeru.
I may review that another day, audience, but right now we're focusing on the mouse. Oh god, City Map. This is another thing. It's so slow, audience.
I'm not much faster.
We'll get to the battlefield in 23 days.
I'll be there in 2 hours.
Fist, do you have any interesting stories you'd like to share while we take our leisurely time to get to the front?
How?
Well, I just lost my track.
Yeah, I can't even see him. We're sitting ducks out here. Pull back.
There's almost nothing we can do. We have too many tanks on this corner.
We have to pull back, get them in a different corner route. We can't face all that pressure. Even in the mouse audience, we can't take on all of that because they're Cold War tanks. And just my pet peeve of mine of why World War II tanks have to face Cold War tanks.
Yeah, it's just such a dreadful tank to go through, and it makes me want to do that fucking, like, you know, what is that meme where literally your hands are on your face and you're pulling down with your eyes closed? That's what I feel like every time I play the mouse. And even my friends say, like, Ocean said, like, he gave it like a 5 out of 10 for an average for his mouse review, and Frankie did a 7.3. The only reason I don't show those clips is because obviously they were too bad to play, but I wanted to give their opinions into this game. So, despite of all that, despite of everything else, even though... So what's my final verdict? It's slow. It's very good at blocking in the right hands if you know how to use it. Like I said, I showed in the video, even though I did not enough damage, and I have a mark on this tank, I know how to do damage. It's the problem is the mouse can't snipe, but you're forced to snipe because of all those weak problems, because of the heavily armored damage. And if you do brawl, you have to team up with people that can cover your reload, be heavily armored, and a fearsome gun keeping the enemy back. Like if you were teamed up with a Panzer E100 and stuff. Although, like this clip, Frankie tried to help me, but, you know, when you're side scraping and stuff, don't do this. Frankie, I don't know why you came over here, because you don't have a turret. Now you're in my way of side scraping. I am literally stuck here because of your tank blocking the back and forth procedure. Yeah, I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing because you're sitting right behind me.
You are heavy enough to push me, trust me. You are heavy enough. And bouncy.
So my advice to you, don't be a Frankie and drive behind someone who needs to turn their full tank forward when someone's side scraping on a building. Yes, of course, like he said, I could push them, but at the same time, I didn't want to get him killed either. I mean, goddamn. And even if the head rotation stuff doesn't work, you will still get pen. So, my final verdict on this. It's just so mediocre how this tank works. And I have to say, between everything else and stuff, it could block, but it can't shoot straight with long range. It could do some damage if it pens, but it's like a very tricky to snipe with it. And it's slow. It gets arty a lot. The survivability is a lie, in my opinion, because you will get killed a lot if you don't be careful with it. I have to say, if you're playing it by yourself, like nobody to help you and you're relying on teams that you can't talk to, I have to give this a 5.9 out of 10. This is literally a tank that needs support. You cannot expect a mouse going in the battlefield be like, oh, I can do this. He can do it just fine. He can go up against 3 tanks. He's fine. No, he fucking cannot. And people that think like that, you are idiots and you're going to lose a tank. But if you're with a squad that knows what they're doing, like a 3-man squad helping you, and using the right tanks to help you, one to scout, one to be a heavy hitter just in case to scare off the enemy, I have to give this literally I want to say 6.9 out of 10. It goes more than average, what I was saying, and it goes up by 1 point from the 5.9 I just said. This mouse can do its job. It just needs help. The gun is too primitive to all these other tanks like E100 that could fire heat at people and harm their, hold down position. Panzer 7 that has more strength armor but also can pen a little bit better. Then you got the fucking, when they combine the E100 and the VK7, they combine them together and you get this tank that does a lot of better. And then you get the fucking fearsome Jagdpanzer E100 that does a lot of damage. My point is, audience, the mouse is very primitive, and this is why I don't see many mouse players today besides maybe people are veterans or people that like to play it. But all in all, I give it a 6.5 if it's with friends, 5.9 if it's by itself with other people, because you're just going to get yourself killed without no, communications. And that's all I got to say. I mean, it's literally that. I mean, compared to every other German tank can be fun in its own category, but this is just a block magnet. You're just a big boulder blocking shit. Actually, I mean, this is better than the Panzer II J and Talk 2. I mean, the Talk 2 gets penned a lot, but J Panzer II, the premium, like, can't pen shit, but it blocks. It's like combining both of those awful things, but but making like a mouse tank. Oh, man. So that's my final conclusion, audience. Thank you all so much for watching. Basil, if you're watching this, I hope you enjoy it because you were the special guest that said that he wanted me to do a mouse review. Sorry it took so long, man, but as you could tell by the other clips, I had to take a long time doing this because the mouse is a very hard specimen to play. So thank you all so much for watching, and I might do more tank reviews in the future, but maybe one every week. But I'm not giving release dates. It may be not a guarantee yet, but I might do that for the standard tanks. So thank you all so much for watching, and have a good day, comrades, and I'll see you on the battlefield.